Hey everybody, welcome back to another Cook With Me video. A couple weeks ago, I made a pasta sauce from scratch that used cream cheese as the main ingredient. And while I liked how the dish turned out sort of in general, I think it could be a little bit better. The original recipe was only using the one pot. I think they were sort of trying to draw you in by being like minimal mess, minimal work, look at how easy it is. And while it did technically work, the consistency of the sauce wasn't great. So I will explain what the original recipe was and what I did last time, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to try this time in the hopes of making it a little bit better, and we'll see if my idea works or not. So the recipe itself, the original one, was 8 ounces of pasta, 8 ounces of cream cheese, 1 tablespoon of butter or margarine, and then seasoning. So they had salt and pepper to taste. They were using chili flakes, Italian seasoning, I think garlic powder and onion powder, but they did say you could use any seasonings that you want. I don't have garlic or onion powder or Italian seasoning, so the only one that they were listing that I had were the chili flakes, which I've got right here. Not very many left though. So I did the chili flakes, salt and pepper, and some dill because I thought dill and cream cheese go great together. Why not the dill? But I didn't do the quantities that they said. I guesstimated. So the day that I was going to make that recipe, the battery in my scale, it died. So I couldn't measure anything. Well, I couldn't weigh anything. I do not know what 8 ounces of pasta looks like, but I know that an 8-ounce block of cream cheese is a lot of cream cheese. So I decided this quantity of this recipe was going to be way too much for me. So I had to eyeball everything. I still ended up making a huge amount, an absolutely massive amount of food, but that's fine. So I'm gonna redo the recipe. I am gonna add some vegetables in though, because I like vegetables in pasta and I like sort of just getting some more nutrients in there. But again, I haven't replaced the battery yet for my scale, so I'm gonna be guesstimating the sizes. This is the pasta that I already had. I didn't buy a special one for it. You can use any kind that you wanted. And then yeah, this is just all the ingredients that you're gonna need except for the veggies that I just thought of. I'm gonna grab some frozen ones from the freezer, and I've got over here, the water is just about to come up to a boil. So I'm gonna get the veggies and the pasta cooked, and then I will bring you back at the different stages and show you what I'm doing and explain how it's different from the original recipe. So I have an unmeasured amount of pasta in the water as well as an unmeasured amount of frozen vegetables. I put the frozen vegetables in first once the water hit boiling, then waited until it came back up to boiling, and then put the pasta in. I know cooking the vegetables in with the pasta at the same time isn't going to be for everybody, but I don't mind it. I find that it saves me making another pot dirty, and I don't know, I just don't mind it. So I do it this way. The vegetables weren't part of it last time. So this is a change, but it's not really the change that I was thinking about when deciding to make the video. While this is boiling, because it still has 5 minutes left, why don't I tell you what the old recipe, what the instructions were, and then you'll see what I do in mine. So what the old one said was once the pasta is cooked, reserve out a cup of the pasta water. So that's fine, I'm gonna do that again. And then drain the rest of the water, but keep the noodles in the pot. And then immediately after you've drained it, you wanna put into the pot the tablespoon of butter and the 8 ounces of cream cheese, and then you just want to put the lid on top of it and leave it to melt. And then once they just say like a generic leave it for a couple minutes, so you leave it for your couple minutes. Apparently the trapped heat is going to fully melt 8 ounces of cream cheese. And then once you take the lid off, you dump in the seasonings and you mix it all up using the reserved pasta water if you need to thin it out a little bit, and then that makes your dish. Now it took a lot of work. I had to put it back on the heat. The heat of the pasta alone did not melt the cream cheese. Like, it softened it at best. And I had had it sitting out on the counter to soften before the start of the cooking because it had said to have softened cream cheese. So it worked, but it's just not in the way that they sort of implied and the images that they used for their final product. So it coated everything, but I don't know how to explain it, and I don't think I kept a picture of that pasta dish. It was just the consistency of the melted cream cheese and the butter and like the sort of sauce that it made. I just think that it could be better. So what I'm going to do is when this finishes boiling, I'm going to reserve a cup of the water. I'm going to pour it all into my strainer that's sitting in the sink waiting for it, and then I'm going to put the cream cheese and the butter in the pot with the pot on a slightly lower heat just on their own and melt them down and add the seasonings into them and some of the pasta water as well, and actually make the sauce in the pot and then add the pasta back in and mix it that way. And I think that will give like a better coating of the noodles and a better consistency. And it also, I'm hoping, because when I did this last time, the noodles really stuck together. And so I'm hoping by doing it this way, instead of just being kind of one big clump in the bowl, they'll be a little bit more like divvied up the way you sort of expect noodles to be in a pasta dish. So I'm going to leave this for boiling for 3 minutes and 4 seconds longer, and we'll come back. Okay, so the timer just went off for the pasta. I am taking out, oh, not with the veggies. It's not quite a cup of the water, but it's fine. I didn't use it all last time either, so I'm just going to take that out. I've lowered the temperature on the burner. I'm just going to go and put this into the drainer, and then we'll be right back. I think I said drainer. I meant strainer. I'm going to go put it in the strainer. Okay, so I've got that sitting there. Now, I haven't been able to actually weigh out anything, and I'm doing a larger portion of the cream cheese and the butter than I was kind of expecting to, but that's more so because I want to finish up the cream cheese, and I put in a lot of pasta, but I did that because I want leftovers. So, oh no, I almost lost some of the cream cheese. Okay. Just gonna keep stirring this while it all melts. I didn't have the cream cheese softened as much as I would like, and you can see, I mean, basic science, like the butter, whatever, melted quite quickly, and the cream cheese is gonna take a little bit longer, but I don't want to burn it, which is why I've lowered the temperature. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of the water to see if that helps make it into like less of sort of a glob and helps turn it into a bit more of a sauce. Oh yeah, that's done wonders. That's great. Okay. So it's still kind of lumpy, but that's okay. This is looking already loads better. Okay, I'm gonna put in some pepper. And some salt. That was the dill. And I'm gonna see, I've been having trouble getting the last little bit of these flakes out because like there's the holes and they don't easily want to come. Can I pop this lid off? Oh, I can. Perfect. Okay, well, let's just use the last of them then. I am very sad these are now gone. I really enjoyed having them. I did buy something else, like a different version. So, and I haven't been opening that one yet because I wanted to finish off the one that I was already using. So we'll try that later. Okay, I'm gonna add just the tiniest bit more water. I actually like this consistency, but I think once I add the pasta in, it'll be a little bit too thick and it's not gonna easily coat all of the noodles. I could be very wrong, but I think it needs to be a little bit runnier to work for pasta coating. All right, I think that's as good as it's gonna get. Sorry, I know I'm hitting the tripod, but I'm trying to keep my arms out of the screen. I'm gonna try kind of. Ah! Oh, I just splattered myself with sauce. That's no good. I was trying to kind of lift it a little bit to get it better integrated into like the middle. I think that's I was gonna say that's as good as I'm gonna get it, but it's actually pretty well mixed in there. And it is, I can already tell it's a better consistency than the sauce when I made it the first time. The first one, while I was eventually able to get it to coat all of the pasta, it was not smooth like this. It was, I wanna say bumpy is the only word I can really think of. It reminded me of if you make macaroni and cheese from a package and you use like the powdered stuff and you don't turn it into a sauce first, but you just pour the pasta, or not the pasta, you just pour the powder onto the pasta noodles with a little bit of milk and margarine, kind of just mix it all up. How it doesn't, the powder doesn't ever quite fully melt, so it just has like a little bit of a bumpy consistency. It still tastes fine, it's just like the visual of it, that's what it was doing last time. So this is a much better visual. Now, one thing that it did say is to eat it right away, because the sauce, for whatever reason, it being made with the cream cheese, something changes quickly with it apparently. So I'm going to put some of this in a bowl and then I will show you what it looks like there. And that is the dead easy pasta sauce made out of cream cheese. If you ever have any cream cheese just lying around, because you know we're all rich around here and just have cream cheese to spare. But but it is a very easy recipe, and if you're kind of stuck for something to make and you do have some cream cheese, it works. It's good and it's adaptable because it's whatever seasoning you and your family might like. So yes, let me go put this in the bowl, stop yapping at you, and then I can eat. So here we go. This is the final product in the bowl. I do have quite a bit left over, which I'm going to use for tomorrow's dinner. So that's great. 2 meals, 1 piece of effort. I don't often make things that have leftovers, so it's a little bit of a new thing for me, I suppose. But yeah, the only thing to note is the vegetables all kind of sunk to the bottom of the pot. So when I was scooping it out, I was getting all pasta with no veggies. So I had to kind of go digging and find some and put them in here so they don't evenly distribute. It just means tomorrow's portion will have a lot of vegetables and today's not so much. But you know, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, 1 pot pasta made with cream cheese. If you try it, I hope that you like it, and maybe leave me a comment to let me know if you did try it, if you made any variations, what seasonings you used with it. I'd love to hear it because I think that's something that'll change for everybody. And also if you think you have any tips for a better way to make the sauce, because I was just sort of guessing and I think that it worked really well this way. So I'll do it this way from now on if I make it again, versus how the original recipe did it with melting everything in with the noodles, because it doesn't make a good consistency. But if you have suggestions, because I have very limited cooking knowledge, I would love to hear them. Thank you so very much for sticking around with me while I make this video. I really appreciate it. I hope you're having a lovely dinner and a great day wherever you are. Stay safe out there. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.